What's up, y'all? Happy New Year. um, I wasn't sure if I was going to do this video, and then I thought about it, and it felt like it would be, um, I felt like it was appropriate in time. After spending some time just with myself and my loved ones, I figured I'd share a little bit. So last Tuesday, I tested positive for COVID. I'm about 9 days into symptoms. And I don't know, I'm feeling a lot of things. It's been a hard 3 weeks. It's been a lot lately. And I feel the pull of my energy, like I feel I feel very emotionally spent. And right now, that is the biggest thing. I am feeling incredibly blessed. My symptoms are really mild, comparatively speaking to all the other folks that I've heard talk about their experiences with COVID. I have fatigue. I'm tired. But that fatigue is still, I'm not obliterated. I've been obliterated before. I'm not that. I'm trying to get up throughout the day and do some movement. My appetite's pretty good. I don't have a fever. My blood oxygen levels are good, for folks who will ask me those kinds of questions. Or at least they are in this home oximeter that I'm using, that I recently read does not accurately read black skin. Hello, institutionalized structural white supremacist delusion. Overall, I'm doing okay physically. I want to talk about the state of the virus. I want to talk about two things. I want to talk about the spread of the virus, and then I want to talk about the structural and systemic issues that are so evident right now as I'm experiencing this pandemic, from the inside out, not just the outside in, which is the way I've been experiencing it prior to this. So I think I caught it, having a moment of needing to be social. And while I wore a mask and while, I tried to keep my distance from people, it obviously was not enough. My hunch is that is how I contracted this. And it is one of those things, we are all making decisions every single day about our own well-being and the well-being of others. And we are in a delicate balance. I've been back in the States since July without permanent housing, which means I've been living alone. And, prior to arriving back in the States, I was in New Zealand when the virus first hit. And so I was in isolation for 2 months there. So there is I've been isolated a lot this year. I've had a very minimal human interaction. And while I am a person who does well with isolation, I also absolutely need human interaction at some point. And so, I say all of that to say that there are ways in which we are constantly trying to navigate the necessities of our actual humanity, like our sanity, our mental health, all of those things, and our physical and public health. And I think it's important for us to be mindful of all of those things. I say all of that to say, wear a fucking mask. And as best as possible, if you are going to be in social settings, make it a small number and make it outside. I had a small number, but it was inside. And, and I wore a mask, but I ate. There are things, right? And again, I think it's important to just acknowledge all the complexities that live inside of that. But, wear a mask and don't gather in groups indoors. Yeah, we're going to have to be creative. We already see what this rollout of the vaccine that didn't nobody want to take looks like. And so it's very clear that here in the United States, it'll be a long haul of any kind of, before the vast majority of the country is safe from this pandemic. So, take precautions. Here's the other deal. There's no infrastructure in this country once you test positive. I got a phone call from a doctor that told me that I was positive. They said the health department will call you. The health department called me a day later. They mailed me a pamphlet to a place I don't live. They don't actually even know where I am. And they were like, stay in your room. And Scouts honor. Like, that's literally how federal, local governments are handling this. And, I blame it at the federal level that there just simply is not a protocol. Because I have friends in other countries who, when quarantining just because they've been out of the country, right? Like, not because they have a positive test. When quarantining because they've been out of the country, receive phone calls and visits to make sure that they are actually quarantining. That's not what's happening here at all. So basically it's like, well, we trust you to do the right thing, right? And that's foolish. And not because, yes, one, because people aren't particularly trustworthy. People are also particularly not trustworthy when they're sad or sick or been in the house for a real long time and lacking social engagement. And people make irrational decisions. It's human nature. And so the fact that there is no structure, no system to ensure that folks are, spending the 14 days that they need to spend stationary is a function of refusing to put the resource to building systems and structures that'll keep people safe. And consequently, that's why there are hospitals that have sick people in the gift lobbies. Like in the gift stores, in the hallways and lobbies. It's the reason why there are 340,000 dead people. More, right? It is because there is a lack of structural will in this country to take care of people. And that lack of will at the governmental level trickles down to the social level and the interpersonal level. It's the reason why we have a country that doesn't take care of each other, right? It's the reason why we, why we ferret out the responsibilities of care to the police. Things that should be functions of care, we give to the police. It's the reason we let people sleep on sidewalks in the winter in the snow and die of exposure. It's the reason we let people starve to death. It's because as a nation, the cultural identity of this nation is not a nation of care. Not at the government, not at the highest levels, and so consequently, not very well at the interpersonal levels. And we have got to be, and that's a function of white supremacist, capitalist, ableist patriarchy. That's what that is. Those are the cultural ethos of those structures. Live in the society at large and then live at the interpersonal and individual levels. And I'm praying that is what we are turning around. And we see it. We see it. There are places, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it in the care that people are sending me from clear across the country, right? But if we don't figure out how to structuralize that, there is no way that we should be caring for each other and then letting the government off the hook for caring for us. We should not. We should care for each other. And then every place where we don't see that level of care being replicated, those people need to leave. I really invite us to get into that. Light a candle for me. Say a prayer for me. My immune system is my body. I am grateful that I have spent a decade saying the body is not an apology, because my body is not an apology, and she is doing a beautiful job taking care of me, fighting this virus, restoring me to wellness. Send me light energy. Continue to send light energy to my lungs, to my respiratory system, to my energy levels, to my taste buds. I miss food. I wanna taste and smell. To my nose and taste, into my eyeballs. You want to send loving light energy to those places in my body. I appreciate that. If you want to say a prayer, light a candle, I'll receive that. More than anything, let's take care of each other. Let's take care of each other. Let's create a world where radical love and care is the most common thing, and everything else is the exception. All right.